All right, so apparently we have one guest remaining, which most likely will be late for our. Oh, she's here. Cool. So all of our guests is here, and yep, we shall start this AMA right now. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on your time zone, of course. Welcome to all ladies and gentlemen in joining us in our AMA for today. My name is Z, and I'm thrilled to be your host for this particular AMA session organized by Balance. For today, we'll be discussing and exploring the topic which is GameFi experiencing exhaustion? Before we kick off this AMA, I would like to remind everyone to stay till the end, as this AMA will guarantee to bring boundless value to you, and of course, prizes to be won as well. So yes, there will be a mini giveaway towards the end of this AMA, so be sure to pay close attention for the instructions. For today's AMA, we have invited several outstanding speakers with us today, joining us in this insightful session. And let's go over to introduce our speakers right now. So, our first speaker, Boson. Boson is from Reese Woods, and please introduce about what is Reese Woods about, as well as your personal background and stuff. Over to you, Boson.
All right. Hi, everyone. It's Boson here, and in Wizwood, I'm basically helping them organize all the community stuff. Since the community is quite big, we have nearly 1 million people there, and actually, I wasn't really early in blockchain field, and I was get my first job in 2021, and at that time GameFi was big, and I was in a GameFi project, and ever since then I fall in love with GameFi. Pretty much that's it.
Cool. All right. That's great. Now let's move on to our second speaker for today, Ian. Ian is the CN lead for Shrapnel, and of course, Shrapnel is pretty well known. So, Ian, please introduce about what is a brief introduction on what Shrapnel is about, as well as like your background. Over to you,
Sure,
Ian.
sure. Yeah. First, thanks for inviting me for this tour space. And first, also, I want to congrats the 30 million funding with A16Z for the balance. It's really a good thing for the whole industry, I think. And for me, my name's Ian. I'm current Chinese lead at Shrapnel and former Chinese lead at Big Time. And Shrapnel is a FPS game, shooting game, and it's developed by developers from Call of Duty and Star Wars. We have 37 million funding, and we start early access early this year. And now there's a extraction mode in the game. It's like Escape from Tarkov. But also we are developing more games like Team Deathmatch and more. And in the future, it will be much like more fun compared to what we have right now. And that's it. Thank you.
Cool. So that is our very own Ian. And next, let's jump on to Ray. So Ray is the C as well. Is a CN lead as well at Super Champs. And yes, I've come to know Super Champs before. Know the community there. And Ray, please introduce a little bit about yourself, as well as what is Super Champ is about. Over to you, Ray.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Z. Thank you so much, Balance, for inviting. And this is Ray from Super Gems. Super Gems is a series of mobile games, currently with a shooter game called Bully League and a tennis game named Racket Rampage available right now, and with more game modes coming soon to the Super Gems universe. Well, both two games are on the base chain and already hit over 5 million downloads by early July, and the project has raised $19.5 million with investors like Solana, Coinbase, OKX, and Mocha and OpenSea. Yeah, this team comes from top game studios like Disney, Electronic Arts, and Zynga. Well, both these two games are free to download and play on Google Play. or the iOS App Store. While the airdrop campaign is still ongoing, complete tasks to earn points and you will get the token airdrop right on this month. As our token will be listed on the exchanges very soon, so you definitely don't want to miss it out. If you're interested, check out the info on my Twitter profile and feel free to DM me for more details. Well, thank you.
Right. Congratulations on the milestones that Super Champs has achieved. It's no feat that you guys are able to secure such funding. Really
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. So let's jump on to, of course, our very own Try, the ambassador of the America. I believe many of the audiences here know who Try is. It's pretty well known. But again, please introduce about yourself as well as, of course, our very own Balance. Over to you, Try.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, my name's Try, and I am the ambassador of the Americas for Balance. I want to thank everybody here on behalf of Balance for being on the panel today. We have some pretty serious projects. I'm always excited to hear what everyone has to say. I'm going to give a quick breakdown for Balance for those who don't know, but we are the industry's most comprehensive Web3 gaming ecosystem. It's an evolution of the ePal platform, which is the globe's biggest gaming companionship platform with over 3.2 million users. We're building Balance to be the most accessible, most streamlined Web3 gaming platform in the market, and it offers unified game access, digital asset trading across the majority of Web2 and Web3 games, and a unified ID system with easy account management and powerful social tools just to scratch the surface. We just closed our funding round led by A16Z and Galaxy and raised a total of over $30 million, as Ian mentioned, which is a gigantic milestone. And we're really excited to push the envelope of what the Web3 experience can be.
Yes. So thank you, Try, for the breakdown on Balance, a very brief breakdown on Balance, and it's no easy. I mean, everyone here is basically heavyweights, right? Heavyweighters. And now let's move on to Johnson. So Johnson is the founder and also the CEO for Amber Studio. And yep, the mic is over to you, Johnson. Please introduce a little bit about yourself, your background, as well as what is Amber about.
Of course, thank you. So, unlike a lot of the people here, I very much came from a traditional gaming background. I was previously running League of Legends in Asia as the head of Asia for Riot Games. So it was a very fun journey, but I found out about Web3 at the end of 2021 and started Ember Studio to make Ember Studio the bridge between Web2 to Web3. So we want to leverage Web3 elements to bring Web2 users into Web3. Our main game is called E4C Final Salvation. It is a mobile game designed for traditional gamers. We are actually launching our game very soon, so stay tuned to understand more about what we're doing.
Yes. E4C, I'm a hidden fan of E4C because I have came to know E4C as Darina, which is the BD for Seraph. And yes, Darina is with us today, right? Hello.
Yes, hello,
All right.
hello,
Over to you,
guys.
Darina.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Darina. I'm with the Seraph Game, and we have a mission to realize a GameFi space by combining immersive game experience with sustainable financial incentives. And we're excited to share our insights and hear your thoughts today, and also more about Seraph. Seraph in the Darkness is like a classic game, but the same we have like a RPG that brings players into like real place. And if you have some question about Seraph, I'm so happy to answer. So let's start.
All right. Yes, we shall start. And before, of course, before we actually kick off the question, let me break down to everybody in terms of like today's agenda and flow. So it will be divided into a really simple three session from this point on. And the first session would be sort of like it's a Q&A AMA on gathering feedbacks and opinions from our brilliant speakers here today. And then our second session would be the interactive Q&A session, which this part is a part where we will do a mysterious giveaways for active participants or active audiences, right? More info on that when we reach it, I mean, when we inch closer to this particular session. And then the final session would be about the summaries, basically to summarize on we actually learned today, what we actually gathered in terms of like our speakers' opinion and stuff like that. That would be the last session for today. Right. Let's kick off with our first session. There will be 4 questions in total, and now let's on to the first question. How do you perceive the current state of the GameFi market? Right? Do you believe it is reaching to a point of stagnation? If not, are there signs of growth and revitalization? Let's start off with Boson first. Mike, over to you, Boson.
Okay, okay. I think it's more of like right now at the current stage. I think it's more of revealing the truth or the right path for I think for crypto game developers. I think the Ponzi structure can only at most be half of the GameFi, and the other half shall still be the game, meaning the emotional value should return to those of players who enjoy the game and all types of emotional feedback, including happiness, sadness, joyful experience, or even great. That sure can help the in-app purchase rate, and that in that way we might find a much healthier way to maintain the operation of any crypto game or GameFi. All right, that's it for
That's
me.
interesting, say, because you actually bring in the emotional part of thing where it affects the crypto game. Because all this while, when I'm on the serious space, I don't think there is any speakers that actually bring in this particular aspect or opinion, and I appreciate it because you're viewing things from a perspective where you consider emotions that affects the overall landscape, like happiness, greed, and etc. So
Yeah.
that's a really unique take you have there, and I appreciate it, man. I learned I learned this from you, like immediately from this space, and yeah.
Oh, it's so kind. It's so kind. All right, thank you.
All right, so that is from Boson, and let's jump over to Ian. Ian, what's your take on this question?
Yeah, I agree. It is reaching a point of stagnation right now because you can see like most altcoin, not only like Web3 gaming sections, most altcoin drop like 80% since 2024 this year after BTC hits 73,000, right? And that's like really bad for the whole industry. Like everything is going down, and I think like starting from this bull round last October after Big Time started its preseason, it's kind of a phenomenal success. Like the team made money, the early player made money, and after that we haven't seen like any other game like as big or as success as Big Time. So right now, we are losing liquidity. We're losing players. We don't have new player from Web 2. So like I think the whole industry and the GameFi section is kind of really boring right now. We're always waiting for something big or new narrative. Maybe the balance will be the next one, because like many of my Web3 gaming KOLs said like the current state is pretty boring. They don't do anything. They just play Web 2 games. And today, some of them messaged me when they saw the news, like Balance got 30 million funding, especially from A16Z. So they know like traditional VC still, investing in this section. That means like they don't lose face. Why don't we lose face? We should just keep going. When the market is bad, we just build the product. We make the product better. When the market is good, we make money together with our players, right? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Your take in terms of like the liquidity is slowly, not slowly, it's quite rapid to be honest. But basically the liquidity is drying up in the GameFi scene, and it's very obvious. And I agree, things are getting boring because when liquidity is dry, there isn't much momentum that drives user to hop into this particular scene, which is GameFi. And yeah, if to determine whether a project is able to like succeed within this kind of financial landscape, we will ensure that sustainability points like sustainability, enjoyability, and stuff like that. And another point where you have mentioned where your friend or your acquaintances find that balance might be the next because of A16Z funded like funded into balance, which is an interesting take as well. But for me personally, I do believe balance will be setting into the right direction and is growing rapidly, which is why of course the funders is coming in, right? So can't wait for things to happen as well as for Shrapnel as well. Shrapnel is pretty big. I do know Shrapnel personally, and I have worked with Shrapnels, I mean your colleagues before, like in terms of collaboration and stuff like that. And I do respect your guys. I respect
Great.
Shrapnel's team.
Thanks.
All right. All right. Now let's jump over to Ray. Ray, what's your take on this question?
Yeah, I fully agree with Ian. Well, no matter what, the market has definitely slowed down, especially with game tokens constantly dropping, right? Some think it's because the games just aren't fun enough, so we've seen a wave of 3A titles, but the long development cycles and high hardware requirements really drive players away. Others believe it's due to a like Ponzi-like tokenomics, so they create complex asset systems, but they end up being too complicated for players to even understand, let alone to participate. Well, some teams think the problem is the heavy sell pressure from the play to earn. So they launch new assets and restrict early users from cashing out, well, meaning early players can't earn as easily anymore and causing like fat emotions. At the core, no one really knows how to fix these issues yet. So we're in an exploration phase. Well, this chaos also present a opportunity. Any project might accidentally stumble on the right path. So I think don't lose hope. Stay tuned to each project's innovations and get involved more, but invest less. Yeah, that is. Thank you.
Yeah. Currently the market is pretty slumpy, but I believe the light is at the end of the tunnel, and we are really near that. And you are right as well. Like projects might accidentally stumble upon, like for example, they keep building, they build and build and build, and out of nowhere they did not expect it would be a hit. And that is a point where they stumble onto the right path into the success way. So it gives a sense of not giving up, work keep building and work on what we are supposed to work on.
Yeah.
And the high hardware requirement as well, because I believe like those AAA titles, they require the high GPU and stuff like that. But I believe projects are actually porting out to cloud gaming, which increases the overall spreading out the overall adoption rate, because cloud gaming you do not actually require a very high specification gaming rig or even a console, right? So that would be also one of the option for projects to actually increase their scalability.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thing.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks Ray for that. And let's jump on to Try. Please give your opinion on this particular question.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to a certain extent. We're definitely seeing some signs of stagnation, not just within GameFi, but also, in the entire cryptocurrency industry as a whole. Ian kind of kind of hit the nail on the head there. But we've had a lot of good projects that have launched in the past. They had some great roadmaps, they had great concepts, they raised a lot of money. And once those projects have kind of come and gone, then we're kind of still waiting for the next big project to kind of show up and take everyone's attention away. I think what we're doing here at Balance is not the solution, but it's one of the solutions that could potentially revitalize some of what the issues are with GameFi. Our whole thing is trying to lower accessibility and increase adoption. And once we have more people in the industry that get more interested in GameFi, then obviously the industry has a chance to become a bit more revitalized. I do also think that in the current time frame, at least where we are in the cycle, where it's even though the release of projects has been a little slow, I think we're still going through a really exciting period of GameFi. You know, there's a lot of good projects. We have a lot of huge projects on the panel right now that have, you know, have their games that are releasing either in an alpha or beta state and are really, really promising. You know, there's a lot of huge, high quality passion project games that are being developed and spearheaded by passionate teams and real game developers. So I think that is going to be really huge for the progress of GameFi as an industry. Like Ray mentioned before, with the downturn of the market right now, the best thing that we can kind of do is just to continue building and really get ready for when the next bull run comes.
Yeah, passion is extremely important when it comes to build. It's not, I mean, when we come to step foot to build, if the first thing, the top in mind thing that pop up in our head is just for monetization or money or crypto and stuff like that, it wouldn't, it works, but it wouldn't be sustainable in the long run because we are looking at things and scaling things at the longest possible runway that we could do and leave an impact within the industry because we are still pretty early, right? So we would need to be we will have to have a certain level of passion in order to succeed overall in this industry. I'm not expecting it not expecting to having the kind of monetization in the end, but it's more towards like having the passion to build in this particular industry for this particular GameFi scene, and that's the direction that we must head towards too. If not, things will crumble down. Like for the previous speaker has mentioned, things like Ponzi's, complex tokenomics that favors the Ponzi scheme, it would be very damaging towards the industry. So now let's move on to Johnson. Johnson, what is your take on this particular question?
Yep, my view is very much agree with what the other panelists said. I think the key at the end of the day is creating value for players. Then the studio or the game or the projects will be able to create value. So to me, it's about solving problem, right? What can Web3 do to help the traditional gaming industry do better? And I think that's going to be the trend in the future. I think the current market is super not exciting, but there's plenty of good studios, good building real games that can really solve player pain points in the game industry. And that's what I believe in. So for example, what we are doing here in E4C Final Salvation, we leverage blockchain technology, Web3 elements, community, so that we can raise the ARPU for our game and at the same time lower the customer acquisition cost. And what does that do? That allows us to be more profitable on a per user basis versus traditional gaming. But we don't change the player experience. The player experience is still frictionless. But we will, through these, designing our game smartly, we'll be able to get higher ARPU and lower customer acquisition costs. And we use this to target in the geographies that used to not get attention, like low-tier emerging market. So our play really is to focus on India, Middle East, Africa, bring games to these 3.5 billion users. And I think there's plenty of other studios trying to do the same thing, trying to leverage blockchain to address traditional gaming problems because they provide so many different solutions. Another example, Telegram is a great access and user flow into the funnel. I think that will solve the next generation of problems. And these are the things that's super exciting in the market, in the blockchain space right now.
Yeah, it's to solve problems that there is so many problems that we would need to have a solution and sell the solution. That is what makes people come into your ecosystem, onboard into your ecosystem and utilize it. And the onboarding part, the acquisition part, that is a part where we need to put effort in the sense where you need to do marketing, have to study with your demographic and like what you have mentioned, emerging market, like for example, Africa, Vietnam, these are the countries that is actually is able to tap into to acquire even more user base for that particular ecosystem. That is one thing that we have to consider. So that is a great take from you, Johnson. Now, let's go over to Darina. Darina, what's your take?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say this is a great question. And from our perspective at Seraph Game, the GameFi market is more healthy in maturation phase than rather than stagnation. And while the initiative hype has died down, we are seeing more robust and sustainable projects emerging, and innovation in blockchain technology, such as layer 2 solutions and improved scalability, are providing new growth opportunities. And also, I would like to mention that users' engagement is becoming more focused on the quality experiences rather than speculative profits, which is for us are really good because we are a game, and a lot of our customers love us not because they can earn like NFT, but because they love a game. So that's all for me.
Yep, Darina. So basically, I also agree with your point where you actually state that focus on gaming experience and not focusing on the play to earn aspect, not focusing on the monetization part. Because if people comes into your game just purely for the monetization part, it would be extremely unsustainable. And if they come and stay because of your overall gaming experience, overall experience with your community, the sense of belonging within the community, and they stay because of that. However, monetization part comes in as a byproduct of enjoying the game, enjoying the ecosystem. That is the key element that will be able to ensure that the project is super, super sustainable. Right.
Yes, it's true.
So now let's jump into the second question. What do you think of guilds in the GameFi ecosystem, and what are their positive and negative impacts towards a specific game product? What sort of support does your project have towards guilds? Bosun, the mic is to you.
All right, thanks for asking. And I think the good part for guilds is that it actually helps the GameFi project make it easier to boost its ecosystem and also its popularity. So the ecosystem will be stronger. But it's also like the adrenaline. It wakes the ecosystem afterwards because usually like GameFi project pays for the guilds and guess who pays? Actually, the user pays at the end. So the ecosystem is likely to get shrinked. And I actually asked several like top tier GameFi influencers before this AMA, and they told me like usually when a GameFi project they saw work with like huge guilds, they would expect that project has much shorter lifespan. Usually, that's from their experience. And so for right now, like since Wizwood is launched on Telegram and we accumulate like over 1 million users over like within a month, and our daily active daily active user is like slightly over 200K. So right now, like we don't really try to work with guilds right now. Right now, we're just focusing on talking with our own community members, and that is a huge thing. And in the future, if we decide to do that, we will probably still try to build a very effective communication channel first. So we try very hard to prevent harm for any of our users. Right, that's it for me.
That is a great metric, or great numbers that you have given just now, Bosun, and that's that is a milestone for you guys, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're currently experiencing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great, to be honest, and I respect that, fully respect that. However, for guilds, again, agree with you as well. It needs to match the project's timeline. It needs the timing as well. It's not something that where it's one size fits all, right? So it
Yeah.
comes in the later stage for your position.
Oh, I just lost you, I think.
I mean, for guilds, it comes after, I mean, not now, but it will happen later on, because as of now, it's not the right timing, right? For I mean, if you were to build the guild.
Yeah. Of course, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we already talked to that.
Got it. So that is the key takeaway that I understood from your statement, where it's not available. I mean, for guilds, it's not applicable for every single timeline. It requires a specific timeline where it fits, and thereon we only build the guilds for the particular project or game. So yeah, that's the takeaway that I got from you, Wilson. And
Okay.
yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Now let's move on to Ian. How about you? What do you think about this particular question? The floor
Yeah,
is yours.
sure. So I think I can add a lot of info here because I engage with a lot of guilds in the past 2 years, from big time and sharpener working experience. So I think um, the guild here, I mean, like, as long as it's a bunch of people who play the same game and they get together, it can be a guild. It doesn't have to be like YGG, those like a serious structured guild, you know. So I think first, for the positive side, it helps build a community because for complicated games that require strategy and teamwork, like MMO or FPS, I mean, like if a new player just join the community, he doesn't know how to play. If there's a guild, they will teach new player how to play and also team up with them. So it's much easier for new player just fit in and just find a family, find a team, and they will be more likely to stay. Increase the retention rate for the whole projects. And that's one of the key factors how Big Time succeeded because like we have a bunch of guilds, especially in Chinese community, and in the end, I became really good friends with some of the guild leaders. They help to teach new players, also bring new players for free. So that's really good. And the second way is positive. Is like I think guild can help you grow faster because like if you collab with a guild, you definitely bring in I think at least 10 or 20 players because like it's a guild, right? It's not only like one or two player. And but for individual players, it's much harder because especially for the early stage of a project, like if there's no like clear way they can make money, if they doubt it whether it will be profitable, individual players tend to wait. But if it's a guild, if the guild leader have faith in these projects, he can just ask his guild members to come play this game. So it's pretty important for the early stage of the projects if they can get some guilds, so they can get true feedback from players and they can build a true early supporters from those guild members. And for the negative parts, I think is yeah, it's true that Boston said like guilds will shorten the lifespan, but I don't think that's a fault of guild because like in my opinion, um, a guild sometimes a player in a guild will find a bug, right? And he will tell other player in that guild, then they will all silently use that bug to make money, right? And on other situations, it's like a guild player found a really efficient way to earn token. So he teach other guild member how to use that way. So they all use that way to earn token, and they will definitely, um, shorten the lifespan of any Web3 game. But I think the key here is not the guild, it's how the projects view these guilds. Because if you have a really good relationship with guilds, first time they find a bug, they will just tell you. Instead of like only use it because they want the game to live longer. So like guild can help you find the bug or the need to adjust the economy much faster because they play the game all the time. They know any bugs much faster than developers themselves, So it is negative, but if you can use it, you can fix but much faster, and also it will help you become a better projects because you have your guilds. They're all helping you to make your lifespan longer instead of killing the projects. So I think like guild is a really important thing. Like we should not only use the guild but also engage with them to convert those negative parts into the positive parts. Thank you.
Got it. Your take is what I can learn as well, because your opinion would be it's important. It's important even in the early stage, or especially in the early stage, and building relationships with guild leaders, as well as making them, or finding a way to use them as a source for you to identify bugs in the game. Because I do understand as well, as a core team member, as as a developer standpoint and as basically as a team member standpoint, we will not have that kind of visibility where outsiders will be able to view from. So it's definitely much faster for a third party, a person that is not related to the team at all, come on in and identify which bug, and for each bug that they discovered, perhaps we offer them a little bounty for them as a
Yeah,
reward, so that
totally.
yeah. So yeah, that is one thing that I got it from, like, your opinion. That's a great one. Now let's move on to Ray. Ray, how about you? What do you think about this question?
Yeah. Yeah, same opinions about the guilds are super important because they bring a large, organized, and highly active players base to the projects. Well, like we Super Champs really values working with guilds, partnering on tournaments and events, and offering extra incentives to guilds leaders and players. Well, people tend to follow the crowd, right? So it's more effective to incentivize a group rather than individual players. So they encourage each other to get more involved in the project. But some guilds do pose challenges like hoarding and manipulating NFT or token prices, which hurt small players and the game's fairness. Well, others use the scripts and bots for youth hunting, yeah, making them adversaries to both the project team and real players. So at least we Super Champs focuses on carefully partnering with guilds made up of real gamers. Yeah, that's what I think. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great. That's interesting because you actually mentioned in terms of like guilds might. I mean, if we didn't filter the guilds properly, things like exploitation, manipulation might happen, which is why when we filter through guilds, we have to be extra careful, and most importantly, like what you have said, bringing more high quality players to our ecosystem, onboarding them into our ecosystem. That is the crucial point.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right. So that is from Ray. And let's go over to Try. Try, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, what's there to be said that hasn't already been said? I think for us, we think that guilds are really good for development of certain projects. But from our perspective, they're really great for increasing accessibility of projects, not even mentioning some of the bigger guilds and how they work, but when we're coming down to the foundational aspects of games, especially multiplayer games, guilds are probably some of the most important aspects you can have, especially if you're just starting out in a game, is finding a guild and getting people to play with. So we think that, with certain multiplayer games, some guilds are needed, to be successful for a lot of new players, and they provide an outlet for newcomers to find people to play with. They can make more money for the projects. Obviously, we do have to be aware of the market manipulation from some of the bigger ones, but we do think that the biggest key for guilds is the accessibility that it brings, softening the barriers needed to get onboarded into certain games. And that's something that we're really heavily invested in doing. Um, Balance has been supportive from guilds from the outset. We have a social infrastructure that's designed with guild support in mind. We've had a plan to invite, some of the top gaming guilds so that they can further introduce new players to GameFi in an even more accessible and streamlined platform than they might be used to. And we want to make sure that there's a full support of guilds to get onboarded so we can help push GameFi closer to mainstream adoption, because that's really what our mission is.
Yeah, to accelerate the growth of the overall industry as well, in the sense where we are in this together. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, try what you have mentioned, where basically guilds is really crucial. Of course, it depends on which kind of project, or what kind of project that
What
we
kind
are
of game you're
building.
playing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really subjective. So it's not something where it is one size fits all. It depends on the particulars situation and scenario before we actually decided to like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna just invest in like recruiting guilds or even building our in-house guilds. That is very sort of like important decisions that we need to go through before making it. So now let's head over to Johnson. Johnson, what do you think about this question?
Yep. So my point of view, guilds in Web3 is not super interesting. They're mainly focused on play to earn. On the other hand, right, very interested in working with traditional guilds. It's all about group of people, community building, playing together, understanding the game better, making sure that everyone has a better experience because they're playing together. So that's the kind of guild that we're interested
Yeah, it enhances the overall experiences for other community members that they stumble upon that guild, or maybe one of the guild members, then they get on board for the particular projects that the guild is working on. By the way, are you playing badminton or
Yeah, I
basketball?
feel the same.
Yes, that's supposed to be a secret. I have my mic off, but when I'm speaking, I couldn't do it.
All right, I admire the way you hustle. You can actually do sports at the same time as attending this. I mean, that is one great respect that you have there, sir. All right, let's move on to Zarina. Zarina, what do you think about this question?
It's interesting question. First of all, like combining, do you mean sports and AMA session? Do you mean this question? So let's go to the guilds. Guilds, I think about the like setup for us is of course really important, and one sec. So guilds are integral to the GameFi ecosystem, and they foster community. And in the positive side, guild help new players to can drive to collection goals within the game. And however, if it's not managed well, that can lead to imbalance or monopolization of resources. And I think it's a rough game. We have extensive support for guilds as outlined in our white paper. So, and also like offer tools and incentives to guilds and contribute positively to the ecosystem and ensuring they enhance rather than hinder the gamified experience.
Yep. Again, gears is important. Of course, like what Troy have mentioned, it depends on what kind of game, what are the scenario, what are the situation, and of course, if it matches, if it's good, if the timing is well, go ahead and just build it or get connected with one guild that enables you accelerate the growth of the onboarding and user acquisition process for the overall project, and it's really helpful to actually enhance the overall atmosphere, the overall sentiment within the project if the guilds is helping us side by side as the builder. I mean with the builder, sorry. So now let's jump on to the third question. What approaches have you made to maintain your player retention and extend the project's lifespan? Many GameFi products seem to die off after a couple of months. What measures do you take to ensure the longevity of your project? And what do you want to propose to your users? And how do you want them to get involved? So let's start off with Bosun again, shall we? Bosun, the floor is yours.
Sure. All right. So for the first question, like I think for us, what we did was like we try to generate more revenue from outside the ecosystem, outside the game, just from the community, and then we put the money back into the ecosystem. So we are like more secure. The ecosystem is more secured, and also we work really close with Tabi chain and the Bera chain so that we can have like two super strong liquidity pool to back up our ecosystem as well. And the third, what we did was trying to create more in-game features so that people like to like people like they actually they like Okay, so we create features that they actually would enjoy, and just like mobile games, especially like we learned a lot from WeChat games, which are the model we are looking into, and they are very light and easy to develop. Yet, like people love them, and we learn a lot from them. Yeah, that is my answer.
Right. So to find avenue in generating revenue beyond the game, beyond the lens or beyond the scope to be more secure, uh, secure in terms of the financial
Yeah,
runway, right?
yeah, that actually requires like to have very high level of community
High
members.
level community members, right? That does that
Yeah,
involve advertising?
yeah, actually, there are actually like several strategies we can do to generate revenue,
Mm.
like from the Telegram system and also from
Ah,
other projects, like they pay us to promote their project, that kind of stuff.
got it, got it. So there is the possibility to actually find any possible avenue to secure more financial runway so that you have more cash, more liquidity within the project, and you'll be able to actually stretch further and build even more. So,
Yeah,
yep, that's a great take there, Bosun. All right. So thank you, Bosun. And now let's move on to
right, thank you.
thank you, Bosun. And now let's move on to Ian. Ian, what do you think about this question?
Yeah, I think Boston said like get money outside the landscape ecosystem is one of the ultimate solution for the whole GameFi section because like the last bull run all those like actually like game because like nobody like spend money here just for fun or for entertainment. Everyone come here to make money, so it's like it's highly Ponzi. It's hard to sustain. Like so that's why we have so many like high quality game in this bull round because they all believe like if we can make the game really fun and we can get more like consumers from Web2 game, they come here to spend money and we can use some of their money to compensate for the early supporters, meaning those Web3 players. That's definitely the ideal situation. But right now, for the current status, the market is really bad. So I think what many Web3 game do right now is like some of them just stop the game or just pause the game, spend more time polishing the product, make the game more fun, and waiting until the market gets better. Especially for those projects that already have the token listed or already have a bunch of game assets listed, it will be a really bad time for them because like most of the thing keep going down. Like it's not only their fault because like it's about the whole market condition. So still, as I said earlier, like in a bear market, right now it's kind of like a small bear market between the bull rounds. So like in a bear market, we build a product, and when the bull market comes back, we make money. So right now, I think the approach for most Web3 games will be either lowering the rewards or just pause the game and wait until the market gets better. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Your standpoint is really highly, I mean, 100% agree. Especially the part where you mentioned when it comes to the time where it's we need to make a decision to pause the operation and stop. I mean, just stop temporarily, polish the game to make it better, and then when the market recovers, when there is more liquidity, when there is more crowd, more audiences, more attention, then only we resume the operation. It makes sense to do that because if things are at all-time low and you maintain the operations, if the financial runway is thick enough, is solid enough, then it's it's good to actually resume. I mean to continue the operations. But if runway is getting shorter, getting tighter, it might be a better idea to actually pause things up, to stop things temporarily, and to resume things when things gets better to attract the right audiences, the right players that we wish to attract, instead of just burning cash for nothing just to stay afloat in the market. It doesn't make sense to a certain point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's a great take from you, Ian. And now let's move on to Ray. How about you, Ray? What's your take on this question? The floor is yours.
Yeah, what I gonna say is very simple, basic, but vital. Well, the first, the game has to be fun. You can't just buy real players with money, right? And then you need frequent updates and events to keep the content fresh and maintain player engagement. Well, also control token inflation and manage assets price. Well, ideally align it with the content updates or marketing campaigns. Well, lastly, the team must listen to player feedback and care about community sentiment, because I believe that most of the programs are suicides, not murdered by others. Yeah, that is quite simple.
All right.
Hi, Z.
Yeah, got it, got it.
Yep.
So, I mean, of course we will need to. I fully agree with what you say. To ensure that the content is fresh, there is more things to be explored by players, so that players will have the anticipation to keep their toes on. That they would have to, I mean, they would be anticipating what is going on, what's next, what's this, what's that, and to make them excited in exploring the project further instead of everything BAU, there is nothing new, there's nothing fresh, it would be stagnant and eventually they will leave. Because to be honest, retention or retaining existing user is, I mean, it's not easy, but it's a better choice as to acquiring new users, because if we were to acquire new users, there is the onboarding process and stuff like that. However, retaining users is not easy feat as well. We would need to, like what you mentioned, keep the content fresh, ensure the community sentiment is at the all-time high, or maybe just to maintain the positive sentiment and stuff like that. So yeah, that is one thing that I got from your take. And yeah, another thing that you have mentioned, which is really highly agree on your take, which is the inflation of the token. That is something that we must to keep in check consistently and always. Thank you so much for that opinion. All right, so now let's move on to Johnson first. All right, Johnson, what do you think about this question?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer in a slightly different way. I think about what is the right audience for the game. Um, and then yes, there's a lot of Ponzi scheme, GameFi projects. Not talking about those, right? I think we focus a lot on focusing on real players playing for fun. And the most important way about acquiring them is to leverage the strength of Web3, communities, social farming, word of mouth, virality. I think that's going to make acquisition costs cheaper. At the same time, retention. If you get the right players, right? If you target the people who really come in and want to enjoy your game, you don't need to keep giving them rewards. They're here to play their game. And as long as they play the game and have more fun asking their friends to play together, there's natural retention. So I think at the end of the day, this question is more about whether you can have the right product and target the right audience with your product. And if you can do that, honestly, it doesn't really matter whether how your token is performing. You can make sure that because it's more fun to play with your friends, people will be retaining.
Yeah, the part where I mean, basically, the last point where you stated is, um, depending on the word of mouth, right? Like if the friend or acquaintances, they had a good experience with the ecosystem, with the community, then eventually they will introduce their friends, they will put their friends in, family in, as long as it's not Ponzi, right? So they put their friends in and stuff like that. Then that is one way to actually grow. And although it's not a super rapid growth, but it actually ensures that the audiences is as of a quality audiences instead of the ones that when this, when that, when moon and stuff like that. That is really tiring as well if we were to attract those sort of audiences, right? And now,
Yep.
yeah,
One sentence to add, right? For most traditional games, yes, paid user acquisition is the way they acquire most users. But especially for free to play genre, where there's mass DAU, word of mouth,
yes,
virality, friend of friend is by far the most important way to attract new users.
yes, that is one thing that we often forgot we often go for the route where just boosting the number of users, DAU and stuff like that. But oftentimes we tend to actually overlook the point where, hey, is this group of players, are they particularly as of the quality side of things, or they are just the number side of things? So that is one metric that we have to consider as well. That's a really great take from you, Johnson. Right. And now, Try. How about you? What's your opinion on this question?
Yeah, so I think, we kind of mentioned it before, but the key to creating a sustainable game is to make one that's high quality, to have a sustainable project, so to have one that, your community really believes in. Balance is first and foremost focused on developing a platform that's not just sustainable, but it's also modular and efficient. So, if there are any changes to the market, we can easily adapt to it. We've always wanted to been the universal all-in-one platform that offers a level of accessibility that's not really seen in Web3. And like we always like to mention, accessibility has always been one of the main issues stopping GameFi from like actual widespread adoption. So our goal has always been to eliminate that. Creating a sustainable quality product is the first, aspect of retaining players and having a long lifespan. And then the other, like our previous speakers have said, is being able to connect and engage with your community properly. So to that end, we have several features on our platform that have allowed for increased user interaction over other platforms, including established Web2 platforms, like our point system and leaderboard, which players can complete daily tasks on the platform for increased opportunities, certain airdrops, access exclusive NFTs, including our Pioneer Badge NFT. I'm going to plug in our event right now because it is the biggest event that we've had since our launch a couple months ago. It's currently running from now until the 16th of September. The top point scorers on our leaderboard have a chance to win our Pioneer Badge NFT, which isn't just some ordinary token. It unlocks different perks on the platform that a normal user isn't quite privy to. This includes priority access to new games and new demos and projects, as well as exclusive opportunities to claim exclusive assets like NFTs, airdrops, in-game items, and the like, as well as being granted rights to vote on our DAO for platform governance. So the ways to the ways to win include being top 100 on our DAO for platform governance. Being top 100 on our leaderboard, being in the top 100 in referrals, and we also have an additional 200 NFTs ready to be given away to anyone that can crack over 1,000 points on the leaderboard. So this NFT is a really big thank you to our community. It gives them an opportunity to really take ownership in the platform. So we encourage everyone to hop on and get started getting familiar with our point system. You can log in right now, balance.game.
Right, that's I mean, okay, let's not talk about. Okay, I have to go over to what you have mentioned earlier. All right, so first, quality product to retain players because of course, if we were to attract quality players, we need to have a thing that matches their level of quality, right? And the second part that I want to highlight is the prizes that Balance is gonna be giving away 200 NFTs, 200 NFTs, and for the top leaderboards and try, can you repeat the date again?
Yeah, so right now it's running from now until the 16th of this month.
Right.
So
Now
quite a
to
bit of time
16.
left.
Now to 16, there is another 10 more days. So guys, there is another 10 more days to join this event, and be sure not to miss. Now let's move on to Zarina. Zarina, how about you? What do you think about this question? Just leave your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think the player retention and player longevity are top priorities for us and for all of like GameFi projects. And we have implemented a variety of strategies to keep our community engaged. First of all, is continuous content updates and regularly introduce new features, quests, and challenges to keep the game fresh because it's really important, and for a lot of users, it's really boring if everything is the same. So everything we try to do is super new and super excited. Second is community events. even like right now we have like AMAs that our user can ask a question and regularly introducing the new features, quests, and also we hosting events like upcoming with Binance and Balance Pioneer Beach NFT event, which offers exclusive rewards and fosters community participants. And also, the third one is initiative the programs offering rewards, achievements, and leaderboards to motivate and ongoing engagement. And also, we encourage our users to get involved by participating in awards, contributing to community discussions, and joining beta tests for new features. And of course, they can earn money on it. They will give us feedback. They like game or not like. Maybe we also can understand. Maybe we have some problems. We should to change something. So it's always important to be in one line with our customers. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, so just to ensure that there is consistent updates for the users, there is more things to anticipate again, like what other speakers have also mentioned. Keeping things fresh is really important in ensuring the users it's one of the fundamentals of ensuring the user retention is there. Of course, it's not easy. Again, it's not easy to retain users, but with a certain level of effort that we consistently execute, we will definitely achieve to a point where we are able to sustain them in our ecosystem. At the same time, onboard new users onto our ecosystem. When we are having new content and stuff like that, they would be actually more than happy to get on board, get involved with the ecosystem. All right. So now let's go on to our fourth question. It's already September, and we are about we are more than half of the way throughout to 2024, because currently it's already September. We are close to the Q4 of 2024. And yeah, how do you rate GameFi in 2024 so far? With only a few GameFi products that are renowned among the player community previously this year, there seems to be a lack of new narratives and opportunities for GameFi projects. What are some real problems you are encountering or have seen recently? So again, let's start off with Bosun. Bosun, over to you.
All right, all right. So, okay, so for the first question, like I was actually on a very long vacation and drew back by the quality of Wizwood like 1 month ago. So I guess I'm not qualified to rate the GameFi industry for this year. And for the second question about the narratives, like I view GameFi or crypto game as a different project than most other crypto projects because it's actually more like a commercial level product. So I think the product should speak for itself, and when you succeed, like everyone knows, and they will copy from you. And actually, while we were talking, and I actually looked some of the projects or GameFi projects from all the speakers. It all looks amazing, and yeah, and I hope at least like some of us would make it. And so for the last question, like the real problem I'm encountering, like since I'm doing the community thing every day, and my biggest problem is how to establish very effective channels to talk and listen to the community, and that is very challenging for me right now. Yeah.
Yeah, because the sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, because on my screen it shows that I'm muted. Right, but
Yes, we can hear you.
yeah, cool. So yes, it's crucial because things are not easy. Coming into the last quarter. I mean, we are approaching towards the last quarter of the year, right? And it seems like the narrative that is revolving around the crypto is it's not right. It's not really generally speaking, it doesn't really flow towards into the GameFi side. But we are able to see some hope, which the Tan ecosystem or basically the Telegram mini ad things side of things is it seems like there is a certain level of engagement from there from users because the onboarding process is extremely easy. And yeah, we shall see what awaits us as we march through the end of this month, because at the same time CZ, or basically the ex-CEO of finance, is due to be released towards this at the end of this month. And many of the speculators, they are hoping to actually see his release, which might, I mean, okay, which might ignite the next leg run up for potentially GameFi sector, and we shall see really. And Boson, the reason why I mentioned all this is because whatever that you have mentioned earlier, it triggers me into having to say this out. So perhaps there is
Okay.
I mean, it's inspiring to actually to have a chat with you as well. So let's move on to Ian. Ian, how about you?
All right.
Yeah, so how do I rate GameFi so far? I think like no one would say GameFi is good in this year. And personally I think like GameFi is one of the worst sections right now. Even I am in this section like full time. But and the problem I see is I see many projects has team issues because unlike 2021 last bull run, and most Web3 games are created by like Web3 people, and they know how Web3 works. But they ended up the game is not fun enough, so they don't get enough Web2 players. But these bull run most high quality game are created by Web2 game developers because they got a funding at the end of that bull run because they want to make new Web3 game, and that brings another issue. It's like um many like game developer told me like if a group of Web2 game developers are doing Web3 now, they will tend to have ego and their pride. So because they kind of succeeded in already in Web2, so they think Web3 is kind of easy. They can just do exactly the same thing they do in Web2 now in Web3, but that is not true. So they tend to not care community and give proper rewards for early supporters. I think there's a common issue for most high quality game right now. But like I think some of them are experiencing crisis, but I think like every crisis is also opportunity. Only if they know like their like old Web2 way cannot work, they will realize like they need to change. They need to listen to community better. They need to reward early supporters and be more Web3 native. So I think if they can survive this kind of a bear period in this bull run, and when the market gets better, as you say, CZ get released next month. Probably when the new book comes, the GameFi sector will come back again. Hopefully, yeah. That's also my hope. Thanks.
Yeah, it's everyone's it's everyone's hope. But of course we couldn't like sit there and wait for his release, right? So things are like everything is as usual. We will need to work on things that we are supposed to work on. And yeah, just now you have mentioned like the Web2 dev things that they think that coming to building on Web3 by using their Web2 application is gonna be easy now, man. To be honest, I agree with you as well. It's not easy, and I've seen a lot of Web2 companies couldn't make it. They have to either sell their Web3 holdings or to actually just pull the shutter and call it a day. That is what is going on at the moment. Just one, when was it? One 1 month ago. It's just only 1 month ago. Of course, I couldn't um say which project it is, but they are at a sizable size. I mean, okay, it's not that big, but it's not small either. They officially stopped their operations. So it's pretty sad because I have no people from there, and I mean I've made friends from Web3, right? And that's how I got to know them through Web3, and it's unfortunate. So these are the aspects that we have to consider, because it's not the things where we can copy and paste from Web2 to Web3. It's not as simple as that. So now let's move on to Ray. Ray, how about you? What do you think about this question?
Yeah, yeah, I know that news. In fact, we're seeing more projects that just piece together old gameplay and economic models. While many games do follow the same patterns, the NFT items, the staking, and the PvP, PvE economics, which has made the market feel a little bit flat. Um, and the mini games on Telegram have even reinforced the idea that the GameFi is running out of fresh ideas. Well, as traditional games start adopting blockchain features like skins and in-game assets, they're threatening to take over what used to be GameFi's unique edge. So it feels like there's also a standoff between the project teams and early players, while speculators are hesitant to join. Um, I think it's really crazy time because it's kind of like the year's bull market. Yeah, everyone's waiting for the opportunity, but no one knows when it will come. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, to be honest, for this particular cycle, this is my second cycle, and it's I don't know how to say, man. Like, it's it it's not easy to actually survive, and for projects that are able to sustain back from like maybe 2019 and they are still operating today, that is one big respect to. I mean, hats off to them, man. It's really not easy to be able to sustain up to this level up to now. Right. So now
Yeah.
let's go on to try. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say, like everyone mentioned, because of the way that the market is at the moment. And I think right now it's kind of just the time to just be building and focusing on the projects. I think quality projects take a lot of time to make right. And I really do think that there is a lot to look forward to when it comes to GameFi. As you know, we have so many games that are really high quality and they're getting into alpha and beta. And they have the potential to give Web2 games a run for their money in the right market conditions. As the market continues to mature, I think this is something that we might have to get used to. A lot of great products and great narratives take time to produce. If we want GameFi to really improve as an industry, we need to maybe temper our expectations a little bit when it comes to how quickly some of these projects can find success. Um, I think with with these projects, we've seen what's happened in the past. Like we've mentioned earlier, if we have games that are too successful in the beginning, they tend to fizzle out. So I think that when it comes to the release of these projects, I think longer development cycles should be encouraged to some extent. I know that in Web3 people have pretty short attention spans, but I think that Web3 gaming is an industry that should have the potential to move a little bit separately from the overall market because the playable product doesn't always have to be tied so heavily to the earnable product, obviously, unless it's a play to earn game. And I do think that this makes Web3 a bit more exciting as, there's still a lot of projects being built to look forward to. But again, we're kind of in a point in the cycle where that's, really hard to predict.
Yep. It's extremely hard to predict what is coming up next, but things will get better as long as there is more and more quality things where Web2 users will not be as skeptical as before because Web2 gamers especially, they are extremely skeptical to a point where whenever they see a Web3 game, they'll be like, hey, no man, no, I'm not going to touch that. Because to share my personal experience where I got in touch with some influencers in helping us to promote the game and stuff like that, right? Whenever they sort of like see the Web3 label, they would be very hesitant in getting in touch. So they'll be like, hey, you know what? We are not touching these kind of titles at the moment. Sorry, maybe in the future, yes, but things like that will happen. But if as we proceed to a point where more and more quality products that is building upon Web3 landscape, specifically GameFi, then the onboarding part, the liquidity part, everything will improve as we move along time. Like, hey, there's a rumor where GTA is going to integrate blockchain in their game, right? So perhaps that would be one of the small tiny catalysts that the enablers for Web2 to actually accept the Web3 adoption. Right. So now, Johnson, how about you? What do you think about this question?
All right. So my view I'm going to just state a statement. I think if you keep focus on building, focus on a good game, and your pre-token launch, it doesn't really matter what the market is. So let's ride it out. There will always be ups and downs, but if you focus on building the right product, it's okay.
Yep, that's correct. To keep consistently maintain the pace that we are going now, do not slow down, do not back down, just maintain the pace and build quality products. Darina, how about you? What do you think about this question?
So I think this year has been
Yeah, I think you are muted.
enhance user experience. And also, I think that while it's true that fewer blockbuster titles have emerged, we have obtained linked with, for example, market saturation and also regulatory problems and technical limitations like scalability on the high transactions fee on some blockchain chains have really was like bad experience for users. But I think for right now we are doing really great, and because we are working more with Binance and with BNB chain, and thanks for that, we also change our blockchain because previously it was in Arbitrum. Right now we are in BNB, and I think it's much more faster and also cheaper for transactions.
Yep. Gone are the days where we are relying on layer 1 and things like layer 2, BNB chain, and etc., coming out with which significantly reduces the TXN cost or transaction cost
Can you
as well
hear
as
me?
Sorry? Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, so yeah, Devina, I think there is some technical issue with X. That's why you couldn't hear me. But anyways, just to take
I'm
on.
not sure. Maybe internet is bad connections or.
Hold on, let me just try and align with Devina real quick. So sorry for this issue. All right, there's a little issue where she will have to reconnect real quick. And now, yes, Devina have mentioned in regards where building quality products is crucial, and the overall sort of like perception towards the Web3 products is skewed towards the skeptical side, right? So we will need to ensure that things will be aligned as we move forward. Okay, so we have come to the end of our second session, and we will proceed with the third session. Audiences, please note that this interactive session will grant you prizes. All right. What are the prizes? Let me go ahead and elaborate on what are the prizes for today. Balance will be providing 2 Pioneer Badge NFT whitelist slots for active audience members who ask questions. How to ask? Please raise your hand, please request your mic and ask away. Then you will be selected to be the winner for our MMA tonight, of course. Now, what is this badge about? So it is one of the core assets in Balance product, which is the Pioneer Badge NFT. It is not just an NFT, but a tool that brings tremendous value to its holders. For example, priority participation. You can participate in Balance Future Project activities, beta tests, or airdrops with priority. The second, access to core assets. You have the priority access in accessing the premium tokens, exclusive NFTs, and nodes in the platform ecosystem. The third, community voting rights. You are able to participate in major decision-making votes for the platform, directly influencing the project's development direction. So these are the 3 key points where you as an Pioneer Badge NFT holder will will be able to enjoy. So I'll be choosing two winners here, and upon approving you, you may ask your questions. And upon asking the questions, we will have our speaker to answer your question. And there you have it. You have congratulations in winning the prize. So now I will be approving Vision Nest as you have requested your mic. So Vision Nest, you might be able to actually unmute now and please ask away. Hello, Vision Nest. All right, Vision Nest seems like it's not on the line, or maybe there is some connection issue. Yemi, I have approved your mic access and please do ask away. Yep, Yemi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Oh,
you,
great,
Yemi.
great. Yeah, kudos to you. Kudos to everyone on stage, and yeah, so kudos to Elon Musk because I think we're kind of having a bit difficulty in the network. So I think some people need to join back. Jump down and then reconnect again. Yeah. So thank you for having me, Matt
Thank
Tess.
you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
been a great one from you. Speaking of that, like been attending spaces, couple of different ones, but then your analogy and the way of asking your questions and putting the whole things together, it's really really amazing. So I really want to commend you for that, real quick. Yeah. So my question is
thank you.
yeah.
Yep.
So in the beginning of 2024, speaking of NFT, let's say last year around this period last year it's all about gaming NFT where we have Play Ember and so many sorts and likes of gaming NFTs, which has really really been amazing. But like the last week I also said, thriving in this kind of market which we are now is kind of so tedious and so brainstorming for founders as well. So so if we are gonna, my question is, what are the techniques that gaming projects are looking at? Okay, this goes to balance, sharpen, super champ, and others on stage. Like, what are the techniques or the traits or things that they think they can do to improve more of the longevity of gaming NFTs? Saying of that, there are so many techniques and there are so many ideas, new projects are bringing up, but I just want to get a good idea from each of the projects that are on stage brought more attention to the project. So I'd like to ask, like, okay, aside from the Twitter platform, what other platform is Balance uh making use of to promote the project aside from just Twitter? Because I see more of the more about the project on Twitter. So I would like to ask Balance, like, what other platform do they use, or are they looking at in promoting the project? And then thirdly, um, what will be the utility of the end user of the, I mean, the holders of the NFTs after Meet? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Yemi, for asking a question. Let's go on to how about Try? We want to answer the questions.
Yeah. So the first question, I believe you were talking about the NFTs, how to create an NFT and how to make it a longevity NFT. Well, for us, the main sort of mantra that we have when we were thinking about this particular NFT is that we wanted it to be something that gave our players, a sense of ownership in the platform, and to really give them something that they would not normally access if there were just some random NFT holder for like a different project. Like the particular NFT that we have, which is the Pioneer Badge NFT. You're also asking about what the end user can get from this NFT. The biggest, I would say, the biggest thing that you would get is having the exclusive access to, you get priority access to any new projects that might get launched on the platform. You can get playable demos. You have priority access to other assets that might not normally be available to a normal user on the platform, including other exclusive NFTs from other games, in-game cosmetics, as well as airdrops for other tokens and stuff like that, as well as being able to vote on the platform for platform governance on our DAO. So those are some of the key things that our users are able to get just for owning this NFT. And what was your third question? Sorry.
Okay, good. So you literally answered the first and then the third question. So the second question is what other platform is Balance looking at promoting the project? Like I said, I see so many promotions and orders. I see only on Twitter.
Yes.
So yeah, what other platform, what other social platform are we looking at?
Yeah, well, primarily right now we're just promoting it on Twitter. We do have our Discord group, obviously, but the big thing that we're really pushing right now is to get all of our collaborators and all of our investors to really push us on their platforms on Twitter. I think that Twitter has the largest reach of most of the social media platforms, especially when it comes to crypto. So we are looking at just really pushing it on Twitter at the moment. If I get some more information about some other platforms that we're going to be pushing it on, you'll see it right away on our Balance Twitter. But at the moment, I think that's what we're trying to focus on.
Awesome, awesome. Appreciate you guys having me. That was a great one.
Absolutely, great questions.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right, that's a great question from you, Yemi. Since it's directed to Balance, then we will just have a try to answer that particular question. And now let's move on to a second question. If the question is that is asked is more towards general, then we will be opening up to other panels for the to be answered as well. All right, guys. So now I will be inviting our second second person who will be asking a question. And let me see. All right. This guy, Taiwo Lee. So Taiwo Lee, I will be approving your access and see if you have the mic access now. Taiwo Lee. All right, Taiwo Lee is with us here. And Taiwo Lee, you are able to actually unmute yourself. Taiwo Lee, are you there? All right, since it seems like there is some technical issue there. Okay, let's move on to NG. NG the Firefly, interesting name there. Yeah, it's a unique name. So NG the Firefly, I have approved your mic access and see if you have the I saw that. And yep, hi NG. Oh, hello NG. Are you able to actually unmute yourself to ask a question?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm ready.
Hi, Angie.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes, loud and clear.
That's amazing. Hello, everyone. I'm hoping that you are having a great time. And thank you, everyone. You are great at discussing this matter. I wanted to know whether this factor is important or not. And I'm going to just tell you about it. And please just let me know about your ideas. I heard you talking about sustainability, about quality of the game, and I want to tell you about another factor, and I want to have your ideas on this matter. Um, there is a factor on crypto games that they do not try to have an emotional bond for the game, for the items, for the NFTs, for everything that is in the game. So I just want to know whether do you see this factor important or not. For example, we have lots of users and they really spend lots of money for having the item or doing something in the game, and they know that they don't have any authority on this game or whatever they buy, but they do it just because they have this kind of emotional bond to that game. They like it. They really like it that they are able to spend that much money for it. So why don't we take this factor seriously and have it in Web3 gaming? How do you see emotional bonding as a factor in Web3 gaming? We have lots of people, yes, lots of users, lots of gamers that they spend lots of money on the games, but we call them paper hands because after a while we see them selling the item after just amount of short time because they want to have other better value on it, not to have it for themselves, you know. So I'd be really appreciated if you can answer this question. Do we have this factor, emotional bonding in Web3 gaming? If we have it, can we just grow it in our project or not? Thank you, everyone.
Right, Angie, that's a really great question. So since that this is general questions, it is open to all panel speakers here, and it will be also interesting to hear what our speakers have to say about it. Let's start with Try first. Basically, the question is emotional bond towards that particular item, for example, NFT, game items, tokens, for the community, and yeah, see what is your opinion. Try.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question because I feel like that is kind of something that a lot of games and a lot of projects are kind of missing in Web3. Web3, at least with GameFi up until this point, until some of these really big projects have kind of sprung up and been developing, has not been so much about the emotional aspect, but more so about the financial aspect. It's in the name, GameFi. So I think that that has been kind of missing from GameFi, and I think moving forward in order to create sustainable games and games that people can get really heavily invested in. I think that is something that has to really start playing a part in it. I mean, we already have games that are, being developed and coming up with that. There's a lot of games that have been on our panels before that have really been focused on creating um, big, lush narratives and believable worlds and things that people can get really heavily invested in. And I think we're starting to see that now. But before, definitely, I feel like that was a factor that was really missing. I think some of our actual developers on the panel can give a better opinion than I can about this, but that's just my observation.
Yeah, like to ensure that the community actually love the product, to have an emotional bond with product instead of just purely for the sake of like monetization part. That's one key element as well that Angie asked, and it's really important to have this in the project as well because if someone or our community is emotionally attached to a particular item, it basically seals the deal. They are here to stay with us. All right. How about let's move on to the next speaker, of course. Ian, what do you think about this question?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. So besides what Troy just said, uh, from my experience, emotional balance is kind of the one of the key factor in community building. Like, so first, as a good community manager, like at least every player needs to know who you are, what's your name, what's your background, and you need to host like AMA probably once a month with all those community members, get their feedback, get their questions, and then you be the bridge as a team and give them the right answers they want. And also from my experience, I made a lot of merches for like a core community members and my KOLs like t-shirt, hoodie, small gifts, mouse pad. Every time, because I'm in China, every time around like Spring Festival, we make bunch of like gifts boxes. Just like exchanges. I think that's a pretty good action we should do. That can definitely tighten the emotional bond between the projects and all the core community members. Yeah, that's it.
Great take, great take. And how about Ray? What do you think about this question from our audience? Oh no, Ray is having some connectivity issue as well. That's a bit unfortunate with the technical issue on X. And Bosun, how about you? What do you think about this question from our audience?
Yeah, actually, I think this is more like the hardest part of making a good crypto game because like in Web2 game or traditional game, like still players are building consensus and the emotional bond is based on that consensus or something similar to that. But for Web3 or crypto games, like people are so focused on the earning and that earning thing weakens the emotional bond a lot. And so to find the right balance between the earning and the emotional value is very critical, but it's super challenging, and that requires, from what I'm understanding, from my understanding, like I think we need to have a lot of conversation with our target users to find that out. Yeah, that's pretty much what I think.
Yeah, great take. I mean, it's not easy if we were to reach to a state where things are, I mean, our holders or community members are emotionally attached with us. Because as soon as they are emotionally attached to with us or our product, then we can focus on onboarding new users acquisition. But of course, maintaining is retention is still there. That it still needs a certain level of effort, but it greatly reduces the level of worriness for us to actually consider about, hey, how should we retain these particular users, or how should we retain this group of users. Because if things gets to a point where they are emotionally attached, we are doing things right, we have done something that is correct or right. So that is one thing that's really important.
Yeah.
Right. So hold on, let me see if we are able to check on our other speaker. I'm just trying to add you in. Sorry, guys. Okay, so yep. So for the two members or two audiences that have asked question, NG and also sorry, NG and also Yemi, congratulations because you will be able to receive a gift from Balance, and the gift would be the Pioneer Badge NFT whitelist. Balance account will be reaching you shortly for the prizes, and we will handle it from there on. All right. So to the both of you, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, Jamie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Gary, thanks.
Thanks, man. All right. So again, thank you everyone for sticking with us until today. We actually, based on our agenda, we have overshoot the timing by over half an hour, and really appreciate everyone that is able to stay on with us until now, as well as our speakers, because time is money and it's a very valuable resources of everyone, right? Now, let me summarize on basically what are the key points that we have discussed over the I mean the past 1 hour. So basically, it's important to create a solution. I mean, to provide a solution for these many problems that is currently hovering in the GameFi sector. And Ian has already mentioned like it's I mean not only Ian but everyone is on the same page where GameFi is already on the stagnation phase, and it's not the first month or 2 months. It has been quite a while that the entire GameFi on average or overall is on the stagnation phase, and it's important for us to ensure that there is always fresh new content to allow our users or to retain our existing users that is currently still with us on their toes to anticipate something new, something fresh that they are able to anticipate. If not, if they leave the ecosystem, it will be a very sort of like it will be a struggle for us to acquire new users for the current market. And after that, we also discussed regarding about building a good relationship with our guild leaders, working together with guild members in discovering bugs so that there is less likelihood for exploitation to happen. And then we also move forward to in terms of like the longevity of the project, and Boson has already stated one unique perspective, which is to generate more revenue beyond the ecosystem. And Ian mentioned to polish the game, and of course Ray has also mentioned about the to ensure the content is fresh, like what we have always mentioned previously. And after that, for the last question, we also discussed regarding about the I mean, thus far we have been in the market for so long throughout the 2024, and they felt that our speakers felt that Web 2 to Web 3 they think that it's easy, but to be honest, it isn't. It isn't the case because things will get worse, and the application is not as simple as something that you can copy and paste from Web 2 Web 3, right? It's a unique standpoint, and it requires a unique solution for this particular landscape, the Web 3 landscape. So we have arrived towards the end of our AMA, and yeah. So again, thank you so much for all of our speakers here. Boson from Miss Wood. Yeah, do you have any last word for us today before we end this AMA?
Not really, but I'm quite shocked by the quality of all the people's like projects. The GameFi, it looks really amazing, and yeah, like I love this industry, and hopefully we can do something big.
Yeah, sure. We are able to always work things out and stuff. So, Boson, before we really end this session, do you have any updates to share, like for your community and stuff like that?
Actually, we are, yeah, like one thing we can share. It's actually more for the community, but I will share it anyway. Like we are going to have a super strong liquidity pool with Bera after Bera's mainnet launch, and I'm sure a lot of people, especially from our community, are looking forward to it.
Right. Cool. I can't wait as well. Now, let's move on to Ian. How about you, Ian?
Yeah, nothing special. Thanks for inviting. And so probably in 1 or 2 months we will start a new game, and stay tuned. There will be many like new game feature in this like new open. So see you guys in the game soon. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Ray. Over to you, Ray.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The Super Champs is due on big airdrop campaign, so you can still join and participate to get your airdrop tokens, and we're definitely release our tokens very soon. So yeah. Any questions, just DM me, and thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ray. And Try. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining our panel today. Again, thank you to all of our panelists. It's always great having everyone with such a broad depth of knowledge on board to speak about GameFi. Again, our our airdrop contest for our NFT is going to be going until the 16th of September. I did make a mistake earlier. I mentioned that our website was balance.game. We actually changed it to balance.fun. So if you guys want to get in on the contest, you can go onto our platform at balance.fun and start earning points so that you can earn your Pioneer Badge NFT. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Troy, for the updates. And of course, our remaining two speakers, which unfortunately, due to some technical issue with X, they are no longer with us. But anyways, our final two speakers, which is Johnson from Embra Studio, as well as Zarina from Seraph. Yep. So both of them was with us and they left early. So again, thank you so much, Boson. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Try. Thank you, Johnson. Thank you,
Thank
Zarina.
you. Thank all of you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your time, and also all the audience's time to actually hop into this AMA to listen from this insightful AMA session. Again, thank you so much, guys, and have a good day, good evening, good night, goodbye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.